Have you ever thought about living beside a remote lake for more than 10,000 years, without farming or raising animals? In northern Tanzania, there's a group that does exactly that. They rely on ancient techniques, like rubbing stones together to spark a fire, eschewing lighters to honor their cultural roots. In this place, men can have multiple wives, which inevitably raises the question, how do they give each one attention in a single day? That's just one of the many fascinating aspects you notice when you take a closer look at this tribe's daily life. Imagine starting your day without checking phone notifications, but instead preparing a bow and arrow to gather food. That's how the Hadza live in the region around Lake Eyasi. Over centuries, they have perfected hunting and gathering, maintaining a deep connection with their environment, and respecting what nature provides in a sustainable way. Their homes are simple, and each family moves on as soon as they've used the resources in one area. This constant relocation is no accident. They make the most of each place, always refining their hunting skills. It's a way of life that goes beyond shooting arrows. It involves understanding the land, the seasons, and animal behavior. Men track small and medium-sized game, requiring total focus. One misstep can mean coming back empty-handed. In this pursuit, hunting dogs are faithful partners. Beyond locating prey, the dogs also receive care when they're injured, showing the Hadza's respect for life's natural cycle. Have you ever thought about living without clocks or a fixed leader, following only the rhythm of the earth? That's how the Hadza do it. To them, nature provides everything they need, and in return, they use each resource carefully. They move whenever necessary, building simple dwellings of branches and leaves, staying in constant contact with their environment. In this form of organization, there isn't a single chief making all the decisions. Everything is discussed as a group, regardless of gender or age. The world around them usually prioritizes well-defined hierarchies. But for the Hadza, sharing responsibilities collectively makes perfect sense. Time also flows differently. Without calendars or set hours, the sun and moon guide their activities, while the changing seasons suggest when to move to a new place or seek different foods. It begs the question, does this lead to a more present, more connected life? Picture a community where women are the foundation, ensuring everyone's health and nutrition. But before diving deeper into this story, remember to subscribe to the channel to help us bring you more accounts of fascinating peoples. In the Hadza's case, women are the guardians of extensive knowledge about edible and medicinal plants. They know what to gather and where to find each resource, without relying on maps or devices. They also care for children and handle domestic tasks, selecting the right herbs to keep everyone healthy. This keeps the group well-fed and balanced. Meanwhile, the men dedicate themselves to hunting, and this division of labor ensures unity and the group's smooth functioning. It's how the community sustains itself. Have you ever imagined living in a place where a man can have up to 10 wives? Among the Hadza, it's not merely a status symbol. It's part of a survival strategy in a challenging region. Each wife plays a specific role, gathering food, caring for children, and tending to overall well-being. To maintain this structure, the man must prove his hunting abilities, providing food for all his wives. Everyone has their function, and this collective effort helps them face the savanna's daily challenges. How does marriage happen in a culture where the family has significant influence, yet the couple also needs to agree entirely? Among the Hadza, relatives encourage the union, but nothing is decided without the bride and groom's full consent. Once they confirm their intent, the groom sends gifts to the bride's family, often honey or handmade items. This gesture brings the families closer and shows respect. Although polygamy is accepted, most men choose only one wife, making monogamy quite common. When the big day arrives, the community celebrates with dance and music. Luxurious gowns aren't part of the scene. Traditional animal skins reinforce their cultural connections and further unite the families involved. Afterward, roles become clear. Men handle protection and hunting, while women manage gathering and the children's education. Did you know the Hadza live in one of the driest areas on Earth and still manage to do well with their water supply? They explore natural wells, nearly invisible streams, and even underground cavities to find every drop. In dried-up riverbeds, they dig down until they reach running water. storing what they find in improvised containers like fruit shells. That's just one of the obstacles they face. Their daily routine includes a diet that depends entirely on the environment: roots, tubers, wild fruits, honey, and meat from various animals. Some might seem exotic to us, like porcupine, but they're important protein sources for people who have few alternatives. They hunt everything from small rodents to mid-sized antelopes, putting in the effort to secure their next meal. Have you ever considered eating porcupine or insects? And what about trade? How do they handle money? Traditionally, the Hadza didn't use coins or bills. They preferred sharing and bartering. If someone needed something, they'd offer another item in exchange. This kept the group united and ensured nobody went without essentials. Today, some do engage with money, especially when trading with nearby communities or at local markets. They sell baskets, handmade jewelry, and even host people curious about their lifestyle. In this way, they acquire clothing and tools they can't find in nature, without abandoning their roots. A tradition that remains strong is the manual crafting of bows and arrows, a skill passed down through generations. They use acacia wood to carve the bows, while arrow tips can be made from metal or bone. The process demands patience and care, reflecting the group's identity. Hunting requires strategy. They study animal behavior and choose the right moment to act. They walk through the savanna as though they are part of it, noticing every detail. When they spot a target, they may wait a long time before shooting because precision is crucial. In groups, cooperation flows naturally, with subtle signals used to coordinate their movements. Can you imagine risking a climb up a tree with no safety gear just to get honey? For the Hadza, it's not just a sweet treat. It can represent up to 80% of their calories during certain seasons. They rely on the help of a honey guide bird, which shows them where hives are located. Then they endure bee stings, climbing with their bare hands. Despite the pain, they acknowledge that bees guard something valuable. For them, it's an exchange. They get the honey and accept the stings as part of the process. Another ancient practice is starting a fire by friction. Instead of matches or lighters, they use just two pieces of wood, a dry base and a thin stick. A handful of dry leaves on top, a quick twisting motion of the hands, and sparks ignite the flames. It's a simple technique but keeps the heritage of their ancestors alive on that land. When they mention taco, they're not talking about Mexican cuisine. For the Hadza, it's a mix of wild tobacco and herbs. They dry and grind the leaves, then add the ashes of other plants, creating a powder that can be smoked in handmade pipes or rolled in leaves. But what really matters is the ritual around the fire. Passing the pipe from hand to hand is a way to share stories and strengthen bonds, creating a moment of unity that is central to their lives. On the savanna, every detail reveals the connection between the people and the place they inhabit. Their clothing comes from the skins of hunted animals, processed for protection from the elements. Men wear short skirts, while women opt for something slightly longer. Besides being functional, these garments are part of their cultural identity, just like seed or shell necklaces that carry ancient traditions. When the sun sets, the community gathers around the fire. Music and dancing bring together people of all ages, celebrating life and reinforcing family and friendship ties. In this environment, children learn without notebooks or classrooms. They follow adults on hunts, discover which plants are safe to eat, and pick up knowledge about natural remedies. Elders share stories that convey essential values for collective survival. However, much of the Hadza territory is being turned into farmland, creating new challenges. Many must adapt some of their practices but still seek ways to preserve their traditions. If you enjoyed learning a bit about these people, leave a like and help us keep producing content. And if you'd like to dig deeper into other stories, click on the recommended video on the screen. Finally, let us know in the comments which place in the world you'd like to see featured here. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.